Hi, this is John at Faith 101, and I'd like to talk today about a question that's been in news and social media a lot lately, and that is Christianity under attack? There's two ways I want to talk about this. The first is really about the context of that statement. So Theresa May in Prime Minister's Questions actually made an implication that she felt that Christianity was under attack. In an international watchdog about Christian persecution, they actually named the United States on a list of nations of concern when it came to Christianity being under attack. Now, I think there's an important thing to consider here, and that is, what does a religion being under attack look like? And I think if we pictured that, and what would be the legal ramifications of that, what would be the ramifications of that in terms of violence towards actual individuals, I think that's fairly hard to argue that Christianity in the West is under attack. I think this is a classic case of people who are quite used to being in charge suddenly not being so in charge and thinking, "Oh, we're under attack," which it's a strange thing to have the people who are in the overpowering majority suddenly weaken slightly and say, "Oh no, we're under attack." I think there's this sort of strange expectation that those in the underpowered minority will go, "Oh, we're sorry. We'll sort that out for you. Here, have all your authority back." History tends not to work that way. I think one of the possible titles for this was going to be what Christians could learn from Jewish perseverance. And I think for someone in the United States to say that we are under attack as Christians, and then to look at Jewish history and say, the Jews were exiled in Egypt, they were exiled in Babylonia, they were scattered through the diaspora all around the world, there were Jewish massacres during the Crusades. There were Jewish pogroms, which were basically massacres during the 19th century and early 20th century in Russia. And then obviously that culminated in the Holocaust of the 1940s. And to take that and to have somebody in America say Christianity is under attack, consider how deeply offensive that is. And moreover, Christianity has been under attack. I mean, in the 60s AD, Christianity was massively under attack in the Roman Empire. There was a massive fire in Rome. They blamed the Christians. And they would take Christians, they would cover them in tar, they would hang them up in various public places, and they would set fire to them, and they would burn alive while Romans would sit and have their meal, and that, that's the origin of the phrase Roman candles. And again, to look at our forebears and say, "Oh, we're under attack," I think, oh my gosh, it just sounds so naive and offensive. There are, if you're a Christian in Iraq, in Syria, in lands controlled by the Islamic State, you are under attack. You're very, very likely to die for being a Christian. I think those people can say, "I am under attack." They are absolutely under attack. I think the thing that I find more troubling than that, I think it's easy to be dismissive of this and say, "Oh, these are, people in authority feeling sorry for themselves." The thing I find more troubling about this is there's a trend in Christian vernacular to put things in militaristic terms. So Christianity is under attack. And therefore, what's the response to being under attack? You defend yourself. You do some sort of counterattack. And aside from the obvious anti-Jesus rhetoric of that, the Prince of Peace, I think there's a kind of worldview that shapes in the minds of Christians that I think is very dangerous, and you see this in other aspects of Christian life. So before, where Christians would be talked about in terms of temptation and sin and those sorts of things that you had to deal with in day-to-day life. One of the big terms now is spiritual warfare. There are a few scant militaristic references in the New Testament in terms of the life of a Christian. They are very, very few and far between. And so when we say we're under attack, not only are we feeling sorry for ourselves, but we're also buying in to a acculturated Christianity which buys into militarism. And that's fantastically dangerous on all kinds of levels. And there's implications about that in terms of the relationship of Christianity to the armed forces, Christianity to the state generally, Christianity to imperialism, and the way the Western world functions. Those are subjects for another video, but I think really, is Christianity under attack begs two questions. Are we just being a bit self-pitying? And two, are we creating a militaristic Christian culture? Or really, are we perpetuating a militaristic Christian culture? Things to think about. Thanks very much. Bye.